Okay, Queen, you can start. The streaming is about starting. So you can start now.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Upe Quinasta, and welcome to another webinar. So in the past week, we have learned how to ace and master corporate strategic management and ethics, case study, business law, audit and assurance, management information, strategic financial management, taxation and advanced taxation, performance management, and business management and finance. And today we would be learning how we can ace and master financial reporting and corporate reporting. Co-hosting with me are my colleagues, Mr. Idoulayeni and Abdulmatin Oromo. And our tutors for tonight are Mr. Oriyomi Kasali and Mr. Adebimpe Afus. So I would like to confirm if our tutors are present. If you are, please say hi so we can proceed.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Okay, hello, Mr. Oriyomi.
Hi, mother.
Thank you for joining. Yes, so we kindly would like you to give us a quick introduction about yourself before we move into the questions for today.
Okay.
We can barely hear you, sir.
Sorry, please speak loud now.
Yes,
we can hear you now, but we can't see you.
Okay. Please confirm. Can you see me now?
No, sir, we cannot see you.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Okay. All right. Hi, good evening, everyone. And it's my pleasure to be here again tonight. I am Oriyomi Kasali, popular as my job. Okay. I'm a finance and account professional with extensive experience in industry spanning across consulting, manufacturing industry, health sector, and also an artist trainer, reader, and a photographer. I'm ACA and whatever. Yeah. Currently, I work as the head of internal audit and control at one of the leading health sector in Nigeria. After I have formerly worked as a finance manager with one of the leading companies, and I have also the head of the activities and everything. Okay, I'm ACA. Sure. So thank you so much for my attention today. I hope you're going to enjoy your time. Feedback.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you for a very brief introduction. Yes. So without wasting much time, we'll just go straight to the questions for today while we wait for the other tutor to join in. Yeah. So the first question here we have is what specific challenges do students often face when preparing for financial reporting and corporate reporting exams, and how can they overcome these challenges?
Thanks so much for that. I give when it really comes to corporate reporting and financial reporting. I really have a specific things about it. But corporate reporting, let me say that corporate reporting is just an extension of the financial reporting. So for everyone that is offering financial reporting at the first level, after that, go to channel level or part of report. I can really confirm to you that even though you're working in an organization where you are not really functioning as an account officer or a finance officer, you should actually not getting experience as all this factor being the experience aspect class. One of the major pitfalls as asked without digressing when it comes to the financial report, I always say that first and foremost, always ensure that you are able to bring into the classroom your experience. Because financial reporting actually cuts across what our everyday activities. Take a look at it. There's nobody that we feel that they hasn't seen this organization financial statement. And what comprises your organization financial statement? They are the things that we are also doing in the classroom. And one of the major pitfalls, or let me first of all take the benefit of you offering financial reporting and corporate reporting, because from there you'll really be able to understand the challenges that majority really face when it comes to the exam. One of the benefits is that if you are really offering financial reporting and corporate reporting, it will really enable you to apply the exam techniques that we are demonstrating in the class. I could remember in one of our class, we were discussing about, okay, not even in one of our class, in most of our class, except the discussion did not focus on a standard. If it focuses on the standard, we always start from what does this standard is about? And we'd love to bring in the practical experience there. How do we do that? It is because in the exam, most people do not always understand the exam technique, how the examiner even structured the exam. I conducted a mock, and people were like, do not even know how to start and what the question requirement is. The major pitfall of students is that not recognizing the question requirement. Another one is inability to even apply the exam technique as demonstrated in the class. Many people always think that when you solve 10 diet questions, when you solve this, when you solve that, when you, after solving, you are done with corporate or financial reporting. How do you think that? Even before you could solve that 10 diet question or anything, first of all, endeavor to understand what we have discussed in the classroom. In the class, let me take for instance, we are solving basic consolidation. And we are like, how many standards cut across your consolidation processes? We could not even identify. If we could not identify and an examiner just brings a question out from your standard, what is ISA? What do we defend that? The major pitfall, like I said earlier, is understanding the exam technique and the question required. And the second one that I'm going to say is that of the word, knowing the structure of the exam question. Financial reporting is not like your audit. Corporate reporting is not like your CSME. Corporate reporting is not like that of SFM. It is guided by rules and procedures. And when we say something is guided by rules, all these rules, let's go to the standard aspect. The most easiest thing is that of the standard, because everything in that standard is coming back to your preparation of the financial statement. Just understand the double entry principle. So the major challenge is not even understanding the basic accounting principle. We all know that. Let's go to the elementary. When we say the basic accounting principle, you will say debit all assets and expenses, credit all liabilities and income. All accounts must have two entries, debit and credit. But when it comes to the corporate reporting and financial reporting, the case may not be necessary so. We have had a case whereby we even have 3 left of account. If you really understand, when somebody sends me money, this is what I'm doing. When I transact, this is what I'm doing. Then my day off, the exam is so becoming so important. This means that we are able to understand simple techniques in that question. That and more are one of the major pitfalls. And the greatest of it all is inability to replicate what we have done in the class by class. Majority do not even have time for themselves. After saying, is there any question? No. Thank you so much. We are throwing the curtain here tonight, today. We shall continue from here in our next class. Until that next class, before first people remember that they even have CR or FR. Majority don't go through what we have discussed. And in corporate reporting, and in also your other exam, you cannot keep compiling. When you are solving something, you encounter some challenges, you ask questions. Basically, in financial reporting and corporate reporting, we develop and we learn everything by asking questions. When you ask the question, how does this flow? At times, your practical experience will be quite more explanatory than what we even discuss in the class. And when you are able to factor in that into what you are doing, my dear, everything just becomes so simple and easy. That's one of the identified challenges that I have actually covered from students caring for corporate reporting and FI. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that, sir. And my question was, in your experience, what study techniques or strategies have been most effective for students aiming to excel in these exams?
Please, can I take the question again?
Okay, in your experience, what study techniques or strategies have been most effective for students aiming to excel in these exams? That's financial reporting and corporate reporting.
Thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful question. When it comes to the techniques that really work well, for God so loved the world that He gave us IoT. Because most of what we are actually doing in IoT, not because I'm really a stakeholder, but I can really confirm to you that it is really because of the techniques of studying and the measures that they've really put in place that even draw my attention and entice me, and I've really been given that edge. When it comes to the studying technique, how they say everything cannot be gotten in the classroom. And people to go through your project. Watch again that lecture. After watching it, you have always been told to be jotting down. When you jot down some points, self-study is actually one of the greatest assets when it comes to the study technique. I love to approach financial reporting and corporate reporting the way it's done. What do I mean? Let's say, for instance, that in the classroom, we are discussing, let me use a common one, statement of cash flow, IS7. My first question to myself is, which IS7 itself? Cash flow. When we say cash flow, what does it mean? Cash flow is money goes out, money comes in. The difference between what comes out and what goes out is what I am doing in cash flow. Then what does the standard say itself? And how am I to recognize it? Then how can I prepare the account? All this will be discussed in the class. I always have many participants that will come back after the classroom and they'll be asking me some questions that will even wow me. Like, sir, I noticed in the classroom that this is that. They were able to spot those items, those things by them doing self-study and practicing what we have done in the class. Studying again, practicing and rewatching the video as provided by the IoT has really proven to be the effective study technique that can actually give you edge in your examination. And that shall be my response for the question, my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, so we learned that we need to jot things down. We also need to use study text and also watching the videos from IoT. Yes. So moving on, the next question here is can you share some real life examples or case studies that students might find particularly insightful or relevant to the financial reporting and corporate reporting topics?
Thank you so much, Marco. Yeah, there are many experiences that we have also tried to factor in during the course of our lecture in the class when it actually comes to corporate reporting and financial reporting. The one that I'm always be careful of, even when I'm lecturing, especially when it really comes to consolidation, is that the aspect of one, aside from the mastery, the consolidation procedure, is to really ensure that calculation of the cost of control, which is the percentage that the parent really acquired out of the subsidiary. In one of my class, I actually made mention of when I was really in the examination hall, and I could not even calculate cost of control. Funny enough, the hall was so loose that I was able to even ask the person sitting next to me. That one do not even know. Ask the next person, that one do not know. However, in every situation you find yourself, you must always find your back. Not in the examination hall is the greatest examination malpractices that can actually land someone where one goes to. However, when it really comes to corporate reporting and financial reporting, they are really what don't really need anything than you just study what you need and ensure that experience is diverse in nature. However, that of the FR and CR is always the side of when do not get stuck. When one is giving you just ensure that. And in moving on, if you cannot even understand, at least if you do not know what the standard really says about something, let your idea of it. I really find myself in many situations whereby I just look at I have a question that I was really working on. Let me even go outside the examination. During the course of my experience, even outside the world of accounting, within the world of accounting, outside the world of ICAN examination, I find myself whereby there was some challenges where the accountant of where I was working, I just did them, was not really doing the proper thing. And I called, how do you have to do this? No, the issue actually comes from the group CFO asking that, hi, Yomi, what is the best way to do this? And I said, what does the standard say? I said, sir, this is what it says. He said, okay, let's leave the standard. What do you think we should have done, and how do we really need to be doing it? I said, sir, when we have, let me mention, if you're fortunate to be in our last diet CR classes and FR classes, I actually brought the question later into the classroom because most of what I experienced or some of the questions that people might just ask me and I say that, oh, this thing can be used for knowledge. I'd love to bring it to the classroom. It was on building renovation for a rented apartment, now renovated by a company. How would that building, how will that renovation, building renovation, and this old equipment? Ideally, I provided the solution. However, as a learner, remember, I said earlier that I'm a learner, even though I'm not a lecturer, I'm an avid learner. I brought it to the class also to have some experience here, just to really confirm that what I have said is actually correct and in accordance. After beating ourselves with words of IFRS, we are able to resolve at a conclusive solution. And that's also bringing it to the class. I saw some participants that really gave the clinical solution, which was actually perfect. IFRS goes, CRFR goes beyond the examination. It is what we do in everyday life. The experience is numerous, like I said. However, later on, she will have satisfied. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Sam. So my question is, how do you encourage students to stay motivated and focused during their exam preparations, most especially when they are faced with complex concepts or extensive study materials?
Thank you so much, my host, for that beautiful question. When it really comes to preparing for your exam, I always say that the only motivation comes from within. Nobody can motivate you, my dear professional. Motivate yourself. And always know that this your exam is a career that you are dreamed to achieve. Why you go? Do not let anything really obstruct you. When I have my mind set to a target, I go all the way out in achieving it. I wouldn't mind if my bedtime will suffer. So far, it will yield that result that I'm actually looking up to. And I always say this, first and foremost, endeavor that you understand what you're doing. You cannot be practicing, you cannot be doing FR and CR without you trying to even inculcate that into your daily activity. I work with a financial institution when I chartered. I was still with a financial institution. In fact, as a junior staff. In fact, the environment was toxic. In fact, the places was toxic, including the bosses that we are working with were also toxic. However, I see positive every time. I always believe that so far I really want to achieve this, I will get it done. And that was how I have worked up to this present moment. One, you need to create a time for yourself. I wouldn't see why you will want to write an exam and you will not have your own personal timetable. The personal timetable you are creating is for yourself. If your day from 7 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. is occupied with your office staff, is your midnight also occupied? However, if you are the type that you cannot even see 12 a.m., bang, you've slept off, what about your break time? I always say IoT has really made everything so easy. But if I keep emphasizing on it, it will be as if I'm trying to promote the organization that I work for. Actually, no. If I have been doing it otherwise, I'm going to say this. I've lectured in a typical class whereby after saying, thank you so much, everybody, see you in the next class, they have nothing to do. At the end of the day, you even come to the next class and said, where do we stop? Some don't even know. What was the thing that we did? Some don't even know. And people will be like, are you sure we've done this? Because there was nothing for them to cover. But you are in IoT, you have the privilege of having your audio, having your video, even having the solution done for you. Send it to you in PDF. How can you stay motivated? Create a working timetable for yourself. I call it a schedule. After creating a working schedule for yourself, then the next thing is ensure you are following it. When you do not finish a discussion, do not go to another topic. We don't rush in FR and CR. Steadily. You take it a step at a go. If, for instance, you are doing IFRS 2, share-based payment, for those that are doing corporate reporting, you are yet to understand share-based payment. Do not move to the next one. Ask yourself, what is share-based payment? Share based on payment. Understand what a share is. I always say in the classroom that all this one are English. Permit me to speak in the vulgar. All this are English. Don't let them use the English to spoil you. Use your own English to interpret it. Everybody has their mother tongue language. Just first understand what that verb, what that term, is meant for. Haven't done that. Then the next thing is you don't really need to know what the standard says much more. Every standard have two recognition. Sorry, that reminds me. If you are working with standards, I always say that 4 things involved. 1, definition. The definition that I said, each of the standard has been defined by the IASB. They will tell you that IAS 2 define inventory as this and this. IAS 16 define PPE as this and this. IFRS 16 define lists as this and this. After reading how they have defined it, how were you able to understand it on your own? Oh, me, I know that lists is something that do not belong to me that I rented. No button, that's all. Then in the exam, I'll be able to expatiate on it if I actually have IFRS 16. But the layman language that I've understood under that IFRS 16 is something that I rented, which do not own outrightly by me. And if I am to make the payment for 1 year, I will expense it. If the payment is more than 1 year, maybe from 2 years and above, then I classify it as what? ROU, right of use. And it go under my what? Balance sheet. Under my what? NCA, fixed asset. Then 2 things involved. It's either if it is a software. Software is an application that is installed. For example, if I have borrowed the Zoom that I am using on my phone, if I'm just paying for it, I'm not the one that buy it or pay for it outrightly. Somebody gave me a license. That is the right of use. By so doing, this is called intangible thesis. Intangible, what you cannot touch, but you know it exists and you are enjoying the benefit. Then tangible, oh, I borrow car or office give me car. It is a right of use. Though office, they will call it COS. However, it is a ROU. Building we are using, which is not meant for us, ROU. Like that, like that, like that. So if you are able to identify that, then every standard award, you've known the definition according to your own. Then the next one, recognition. When can we recognize? Recognition for every standard is when it is probable that future economic benefits will flow into the entity. That is one. Another recognition criteria might be that if some condition has been satisfied, because in some standard, you will need to meet some condition before you can recognize it. And when you recognize, opposite of recognition is the recognition. I'm picking that as one, recognition and the recognition. When am I to recognize it? In my book. When am I to remove it? Recognition means when am I to put it in my book? The recognition, when am I to stop using it in my book? Let's break it down. Then the third one is measurement. How do we measure it? And the last one, but not the least, which I always tell you, is what accounting entry. What accounting am I passing? When you know those 4 key terms, whenever they give me standard, I will always look at definition, recognition and the recognition, measurement and remeasurement, and accounting entry. If you really know that for standard, done, dusted. Now come to everything in groups centered on understanding your basic principle and your consolidation procedures. We gave 7 rules of consolidation during the course of our lecture. We said if you follow it religiously, you are good to go. However, you are not limited to that 7. It may be more than that as a result of some other additional information. Or when you have some step of financial statement being combined. My dear all, what is the secret of FR and CR? When you get to each and every one of them, you already know what you want to do. The first one, don't forget, have your working schedule. The second one is what? Understanding the question, understanding the paper you are writing itself. And I have explained how you will understand the FR and CR to you. The third one is efficient management of your time. Ensure that while you are practicing, and I always tell you that before you practice any other question, before you practice that pathfinder, the one way we do in the class, apology for speaking in progress, the one we practice in class, have you practiced that first? Have you understood why unrealized profit is 20 over 120? Why the second one is 25 over 100 and not 25 over 125? Have you recognized why we are lessing unrealized profit from your retained earning of the subsidiary and from the inventory? Have you recognized why when we have cash in transit, why it is only your payable receivable it will affect? When we have in travel transactions, have you recognized some of the treatment that we do? These are the things. Before you practice anything, the one that is discussed in the class, understand it. I haven't done that. Manage your time efficiently. And I haven't managed your time, my dear, practice, practice, practice. You cannot practice last 10 diets of ICAN exam and go wrong. That has really been the moving techniques and the motivation that I can give. It is whether you have written CR before or not, whether you have written FR before or you are just new, just approach it in that manner. And it is what technicality, I call it strategy. Strategic that I mean is you have already familiarized yourself with the examiner by practicing the question. There are some of the questions whereby if I say do this, do that, the first thing you'll be looking for is, what am I to do there? And for God so loved the world, all our tutor will first of all ask you, see this question, what are we to do first? It is interactive section. You are interacting with us. We are asking you as if we are standing in front of you. We hear your opinion right before we even tell you the right thing. I could recollect the numbers of times we turn classroom to a debate. There are many times we even stop recording so that we can debate at that discussion. And the debate that we mean is not arguing. For those who have been in the class and actually saw how we debate. The last one was, what does IFRS 16 say? One said this, one said that. Okay, if we have operating list, what does it say? One person is saying above 1 year. Are you sure? Below 1 year. Are you sure? When it is 1 and 2. Yeah. That was how we debate inductively. So that by the time you are seeing your district again, you are seeing any of your standards, you will understand, you will recollect that debate when somebody made the statement and they said it was fun right before what correcting it. All that are really what can actually motivate you. And above all, improve your speed. Improve your speed in the exam. Improve your speed while you are working. You will see that in the classroom, we always take our time. And we have a wherewithal whereby the admin, the host, the management has never given us a rush on a particular discussion. They allow your instructor to take you down to the lowest level of your understanding. And that are being deployed in the class. But while you are working alone, if you hear don't sleep on it, you don't have to sleep on it. Increase your speed. Understand it, increase your speed, and above all, practice question. And after that, my dear, I promise that nothing can ever debar your success in the examination. Thank you so much, my host.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Oriyomi. Yes, we would proceed to entertain questions. We
will proceed to entertain questions from the.
Okay, so if you have any questions, please, you can raise your hands up. I'll come again. If you have any questions to ask Mr. Oriyomi, you can kindly make gesture by raising up your hand. Okay, so no questions. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. All right. So my next question sir, is sometimes students might feel overwhelmed in exam and the exam might be a bit intense to them. And so I will ask, I will ask, what are the common stumbling blocks or challenges that you know that students face in their financial reporting and their corporate reporting exam halls, and how can they overcome these challenges, such as the time they should assign to each questions, and how they should tackle questions in exam hall, being time conscious and the likes. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful question. Exam, under the exam condition, it is normal to be tense. However, do not lose your track. Do not lose your balance. Do not miss the spot, irrespective of the challenges that might face in the examination. In an exam, it is always advised that to start with some bonus questions. When we say the bonus question has to do with the question you really understand test. I am not defining my bonus question by the mark that has been allocated for each of the questions. We all know that CRFR have 7 questions, and you have to answer 5 in all. Question 1 is compulsory. Section B is 3 questions, you are picking 2. Section C, and that is for 20 marks. Question C is 3 questions, and you are also picking 2, and that's 15 marks each. In an exam, if it is what you will always find under your 15 marks question, section C, has always proven to be your word, regulatory and conceptual framework. Even as at the level of corporate reporting, ICAN are still asking you about ethics, conceptual, and regulatory framework. And all these are your bonus questions that you can actually tap within less than 10 minutes, or let me say within the maximum minutes of 10. Also for financial reporting. In fact, for FR, you will find more than 1 question that is having conceptual and regulatory framework and ethics. Because ethical code of conduct is one of the professionalism that ICAN are expecting from their financial reporter and corporate reporter they are grooming. And as a result, they will always test your intelligence on this. When you are tense in the exam, the first thing is relax your mind. Heaven will not fall. Now exam, and you have already prepared for the day. And you boost your confidence by what? By just seeing that all these exams are very much simple. Nothing to fear. When you have when your morale is really high, you'll be willing to even take the exam with everything it brings. Get into the exam and your mind skip, or something be as if something just struck your mind, boom, or you were feeling shaky. First, relax. You can stand up, sit, breathe in, breathe out. And after that, first of all, read your question requirement. Don't start writing. Don't jot anything. Read your question requirement. Requirement 1, what did they ask? Publish account. Just asterisk. Requirement 2, what did they ask? Conceptual framework. Question 3, what did they ask? Group, parent and subsidiary. Question 4, what did they ask? Parent and associate. Question 5, complex group. Question 6, ethical, 5 ethical codes of ethics that every professional must possess. Question 7, what are the threats to the ethical rules? Oh, you have read your question requirement. You've known what each question holds. Then the next thing is me, your mic. I will be doing question 5 first, followed by question 6, followed by question 4, followed by question 2. You've done your planning. Doing your planning, you don't have to write anything. Just strike a mark on your answer booklet. And the one you know best, you start with it. Let's now assume that while you are solving, there are some questions, and this always happens in the exam. I always go by the mark that's allocated. If I look at my section B, and I see like question 2 is having 20 marks. 15 marks out of the 20 marks is some simple consolidation or just ordinary consolidation, but the additional information is no more than 2, 3 additional information, or maximum 5. I know that that's 15 marks. If I will make error, I will get 13 out of it. I'm doing it. It may not be that the B part is unclear to you at that moment. The one that you know, where you know that you can tap 13 marks out of that 20, I will go for it. Then I go to my section C. I think out of the 15 marks, 20 marks sure for me. I will go for that as well. And by so doing, if you read, by so doing, one, it will really alleviate your fear. Sorry, it will reduce your fear. That's what I mean by alleviate your fear. Then that attention will become the moment to start putting pen to paper. And above all, by the time you have already practiced questions, you will only be remembering all the class questions. Just turn your exam to your classroom. When you turn your exam to the classroom, everything becomes so much easier. And don't get stuck. I always repeat that. You don't get stuck. What do I always mean by don't get stuck? Let's say I draw my group structure. The question is on consolidation. I've already drawn my group structure, but I don't know the percentage. I will leave it. I go to the next one. The next one do not have to do with percentage. From there, I go to the next one. Do not have to do with that percentage. I will just leave the aspect of the percentage, which is share of profit. I go to calculation of my goodwill. It may not even require me using that percentage. From there, I can even conclude everything before I now look at where is my ordinary share, where is my this thing, how will I do share acquired divided by what total share of the subsidiary. Because in the exam, the tension might even make you to even forget what you know. That's why I always ask you to relax. When you are relaxed, know that exam will come and go. I have prepared for this day. The day has finally come. Let me also calm down and do it. Then know that you are going there to do your best. It is an attempt. You will never see solve. It's an attempt. You are going there to attempt. You are not going there to solve. When you have the mindset of going there to attempt, everything becomes so easy. For example, you have been employed, and in your office, your boss gave you an assignment, and your boss says, submit for me to review. You know that whatever you do, there is a second eye that will look at it. Unlike whatever you do becomes final. And the way we have been grooming ourselves in the classroom is make that mistake so that it can be corrected. The worst that will be done is to laugh. And when you are being corrected on something, you don't repeat it. That is the proven formula over the years that has been working. Just ensure that you take things so easy. You're going to the examination or to attempt and not to solve. And you approach the exam according to the one you know best first. And ensure you understand the exam requirement. Here, consolidate. What are you consolidating? Parent and subsidiary. who is a parent, who is a subsidiary. If they ask you for standard, which is what majority always fear, ask yourself, in my statement of financial position, for FR, you will do publish account, single. You will do consolidated, you still do associate. Ask yourself, where is this standard? Where is it going? If you know where it's going, you know the end. When you know the end of something, you can actually walk back to get the beginning. That's how it works. When you can remember the 4 things that we said earlier, every other thing becomes so easy. The tension will disappear the moment you put pen to paper and you start solving. So when you are tense in the exam, relax. After relaxing, go through the question requirement. After going through the question requirement, endeavor to start with the one you know best. And after doing the one you know best, the one you don't know, don't give your book blank. Ensure that you put down your idea. Idea will always frame. Ensure you frame your idea and put it down. If it is to put it down in an English word, another thing is, if I can put 5 marks on something, they demanded more explanation from you. If they put 3 marks, depending on how the question comes, they demanded not much explanation, but a brief and concise one, detailed to the requirement. And by so doing, the tension itself will disappear. Thank you so much. That is the best approach when one is tense in the exam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Time is fast spent, so we'll just entertain questions before we call it a night. So if you have questions, you can raise your hands and you'll be given a chance to ask your questions. So, or if you want to type them, you can type and it will be read.
Okay. Queen, while waiting for your questions, we have questions on YouTube.
Okay. Do you mind reading them?
Okay. Mr. Oriyomi.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that from Deborah? Deborah is asking from you to please. She said, please, can we have likely topics for exam focus on FR? I think what she's trying to ask is what are the AOC or area of
Likely
concentration
questions.
for likely questions for FR? Or what topics can she concentrate on?
Thank you so much, sir, for that, for reading out the question. At the end of the diet, IoT always have what we call end of the diet sensitization. And in the end of the diet sensitization, we always tailor our focus on those aspects. Let me first emphasize that there's no AOC anywhere. When it comes to FR and CR, there's no AOC. In fact, when it comes to ICAN exam, there's no AOC. Every area, all aspects can be tested. The proven formula is ICAN uses the real life scenario. Look at what is really happening in the economy. And by so doing, you can also predict what ICAN will be setting. There are some topics that are very much germane that it should be set. For the FR, just look at your consolidation, look at your published account, look at your cash flow statement. And that can actually be spotted by looking at the examiner's comment at the end of each diet. The one that students were having poor performance, they like repeating those questions because they know what would have brought about the poor performance in the exam is a result of students either not understanding it or not even focusing on those aspects. And when it comes to the standard, every standard can be texted. When we talk of the income, oh, sorry, I only mentioned FR. For the CR, when we look at what is really happening in our economy, yeah, it has been a while I can really set foreign account or foreign subsidiary 21. But we can confirm as a result of our new presidency with what is happening to exchange rate in Nigeria, we can say we should be looking at that aspect. Having said that, we should be looking at where a company, there's always what we call a de facto in an economy. As a result of the government policy, some organizations were really pulling out of business, and some are even leaving the country. Be looking at various acquisitions that we have, change in your group structure, how a parent can become a subsidiary, how a parent can lose its control and even become ordinary investment. And to the FR, when it really comes to that of your group, I've told you just look at your published financial statement. Look at your group account as well. There's not much in that group. But for the standard, we shall look at the economic effect and we can actually advise on that during our end of the day sensitization. However, every standard that will be examinable are as important as every other topic. So just let us treat everything and practice as much as our time permits. And however, do not be hard on yourself. Whatsoever that you can do, just set your mindset on the other one. If there's one that I did not read and I can't set it, use your idea. And that actually solves it. Thank you so much, sir, for that.
All right, thank you, sir. So we have another question here from Perpetua Nkechuku. And she says that she wants to know if all the topics for corporate reporting are in the ICAN pack, and that she's looking for a particular question. Yeah, the SEC guidelines for risk management by entities in, I think is a May 2022 question 3.
Okay, thank you so much, Perpetua, for that question, and thank you so much, my own. Every topic in corporate reporting is in our ICAN study pack. Our scripture, I call it our Bible, our Quran for ICAN is their ICAN study pack. And that is the first and foremost of our learning resources. ICAN will not go outside their pack to set you a question that is not meant for you. Let's get that right. However, they did not put it that they will not test the current economic trend. And that current economic trend will not be in your pack, especially those that are doing CR. The current economic trend may not be in your pack. That is why you are expected as a professional to keep yourself informed of what is really happening in your environment. Know when there are some changes. Ask some little questions. When CBN did a Naira redesign, I can't texted it. Now we are having another policy of our new president. They will also be looking at texting some stuff under this new governance. The Security and Exchange Commission question you were looking for, you may not find it in the pack because it is stated that they will always test the current economic trend. And when last did they review the study pack? Let's be honest with ourselves. When last did they review it? They reviewed it last time they changed their syllabus, which is 2019. Even though they have called some part 2020, they called some part 2021. New things is out. They are not updating it. However, how will you update yourself? That is why you have your tuition center, ICAN online tutor. How do you update yourself? That is why you have your gadget, your mobile phone. Your gadget, your phone, your system are not only meant for browsing. You are to keep yourself informed about it. I like it, but I never have time to listen to some news. However, if I just log in to my internet and I see something, I click on it to learn about it. I may have a clue I may not be able to read it and understand and digest all at once, but at least I will click to have a view. Two things involved. One for your study. The other one, it may affect your organization. You are working in an IT firm and you do not know about telecommunication policy. Pour onto you is what I always say. You are working in a place and you do not know the policy that the government does that is affecting where you are working. Why are you an ICAN student? So we should also endeavor to try as much as possible to familiarize the news that you can be listening to is a business news. Because every policy we have either directly or indirectly affects the business. Look at the currency change. Look at the subsidy gone. We all know the effect, even on our cost of living, before we now talk of the business. And when all this was gone, as I can set you a question on it, the answer is no. So when they will set a question, they will just look at what is happening and they will bombard you. However, we will try as much as possible to ensure that we discuss on the current economic trend in the class. However, we may not cover everything. But when you are asked, that is where your professional or your professionalism or your technical competency will now set in. And that is that perpetual. And for the FR, also, they will always test your intelligence. They will always test your intelligence on what's happening in the economy. They will lump it with conceptual and regulatory framework. At times, they may just factor it into your ethical code of ethics. At times, they may even ask the question independently. And if you look at the family tree of corporate reporting, AAA is there, which is advanced audit and assurance too. It also draws some topics from your SME, from your taxation as well. So all this, don't think when they make a law in a taxation, you are not being affected. You are. That is why you really need to stay updated about what is happening in your country, in your own country, Nigeria. That is that, Perpetua. Thanks so much for that wonderful question.
Thank you, sir. Please, do we have any questions? Okay, seeing that we don't have questions for tonight, we would like to call it a night. Yes. So thank you so much for all our participants. Thank you.
Won't you let me part with my colleague?
Okay, so part well.
I will arrest you, Mama.
So yes, we have classes tomorrow. Yeah, I know. So we need to go retire to bed so we can wake up quite early to continue.
So sorry, Queen. Yes, sorry, Queen. Oh, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Oriyomi. So
yes,
I think just one more question here. I think this question will help. So before we call it the night. Yeah. So can you please just share in 2 to 3 minutes? Can you please just share a success story or some success stories or testimonials from previous students who have benefited significantly from your guidance in financial reporting and corporate reporting exam preparation? So thanks.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question, sir. When it really comes to testimony in CR and FR, it is massive. KPK. Corporate reporting has really been one of the most exciting course, just as financial reporting is also an exciting course. It really gives you edge. In fact, even in your organization, the advice has always been that you take your classroom to your office and to everything you are doing. When you take your classroom to what you are doing, my dear, nothing will limit your achievement in financial reporting. You cannot be doing financial reporting and not practicing it. Practicing that I meant here is ensure you are working. All apologies to everybody that's not working as an account officer. Whether you are working in account related or non-account related, at least at your own space, at your own pace, and people to be practicing the accounting stuff. When I collect money, when you take out money to buy your food stuff, ask yourself, what will be my accounting entry? And over the years, that has always been my advice to many participants and for those who have come in contact with me. One, the best of it is have your schedule. You cannot say you are preparing and you not have a timetable for your life. When you have a timetable for yourself, endeavor the minimum time, worst come worst, endeavor to spend 1 hour on yourself. That 1 hour is either you use 30 minutes to watch your video, 30 minutes to practice, or 20 minutes to watch your video, the remaining 40 minutes to practice. Just endeavor that a day will not go without you achieving something. Always ask yourself, Jeremy, what have you achieved today? You have a schedule that you created, FR today, 8:30. Then ask yourself, what have I achieved today? You might be having some question that is giving you challenges. Post it to the platform, ask your instructor. And after they've responded, take it back to what you are solving. Check it out. Was I able to resolve this? What you have achieved, nothing can take it away from you. And after that, ensure you are practicing. By so doing, you will also share your testimony positively with me coming the next day. And I promise that if you can actually follow the guideline that has already been given in the class, have your schedule, monitor the exam requirement and how it is being approached, and before that, your competency, your technicality, your experience, your idea is brought into what you are doing for FR and AR. Whenever they ask me something about the standard, I, Oriyomi, I will always define the standard according to me while referencing the standard. According to IS 7, cash flow statement can be defined. Cash flow statement is the inflow and outflow of cash and cash equivalent. My dear, I don't know if that is how IS 7 has defined it, but in my own definition, that is how I've defined it. While I am quoting what IS 7, when you quote a standard, it gives the examiner. It tells them that you really know what you are doing, even though you know you are doing rubbish. You quoted IS 32, financial instrument. You don't know whether it's definition of financial instrument, whether it is measurement, whether it is recognition. You shall say according to IS 32, financial instrument. And you're able to put it according to your own. My dear, above all, do not get stuck. Ensure that you always move forward in everything you're doing. When you are stuck with a particular question, leave it, go to the next one, and come back later to come and continue with it. Thank you so much, everybody. That has really worked for me, and people have really been giving a testimony to that advice during the course of our lecture. Thanks so much, sir, for asking the question, and that should also be my parting words for tonight.
Thank you, sir, for this insightful lecture. Yeah. Queen.
Okay, yeah. Hi. So we have come to the end of today's webinar, seeing that we don't have so much questions, and yeah, time is fast spent. So thank you for joining. Thank you everyone, all our participants, and also to our tutor, Mr. Oriyomi Kasali, and then my colleague Romo Abdulmatin and Mr. Ido Laini. Thank you so much for joining. We hope to see you soon. Yeah, and wish you success in your examination. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, Ma, for hosting us. God bless you. God bless the entire
God
team.
bless you too, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure having you tonight. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.